Hello, excuse me. Greetings. This is this is me again, Zahra. Here, berserk. I've really gone berserk here. So excuse me for this. I didn't know. I was going to have my usual laughter attack, spaz attack, as one of my American school friends called it. So we're here to help the Muslims and myself now, help the Muslims to leave Islam. So I was on this illogical ayat in the Quran, and the simplest contradiction I found recently and showed you. So now, let me just settle down. Sorry about this. I didn't know all of a sudden I will start laughing. So it's something to see it for yourself. So starting, please bear with me as usual. I'm not that prepared, but I prepared the notes. And then to explain all this, not quite prepared, never prepared, but will do my best. What I've seen, actually, when I do my research, when I see it, it's very clear, but the problem is to show it to you in a way that I can explain it, put my thoughts and what my insights into, clear articulating, explaining, and through words. So I knew what phi means, but really didn't know what actually it would be here in the Quran. See, you can never explain. What does Surah Kaf mean by no crookedness in the Quran? So, after the recent live stream last time, and the science is the creation of the diversity of your tongues. Oh yeah, and the Ismailis, my Shia Ismailis, would use this ayat, Surah 30 ayat 22, to have diversity like this, to show that Islam allows diversity because Allah Himself says, and of His signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth and the diversity of your tongues and colors. Indeed, and there are signs for those who know. So last time I gave another ayat, and this is for like diversity, how it would be put by the Ismailis, so beautifully explained and put by the Ismaili imams, languages, right? So footnote 1 here, Fadl Solomon Bridges translation, says languages, different languages. Then I looked at, I remembered Surah Zariyat ayat, says differing speech, or various translations here. We have, footnote 1, I've taken Fadl Solomon, but here Fadl Solomon Bridges translation is, indeed you are in differing speech. Oh, this is Surah 51 ayat 8. Indeed you are of different opinions. So going to Surah Zariyat ayat 8, 51 chapter of the Quran, indeed you are of different opinions, and it looks like it's negative, this ayat. Surely you are at variance about the hereafter. Abul Alam Maududi puts it that way. Sahih International says, indeed you are in differing speech, translating this ayat, and truly you are in doctrine discordant, Yusuf Ali, right? So it's not very clear, like here God puts it in a way that whether you're in discordant variance about the hereafter, having various views, opinions, Or really what he means, if he means this metaphorically, like using the speech, saying that indeed you are in deferring speech, using the word qawla, or the Arabic word, which is, I think, speech, not lisan, not the tongue, the way he puts it here in Surah uh, Rum, 30th Surah of the Quran, ayat 22. Tongues, and your diversity of your tongues and colors, indeed, and there are signs for those who know. So here it's positive, like the Ismaili Imam, and they're so positive about this Islam. But in Surah Dhariyat, 8, it's negative. Qawlan, right? It's like a speech. It means speech. Okay, so this, you see the crookedness in the Quran? For example, where shall I? Okay, so, okay, let me tell you continuing from my previous live stream, let me start here then. How unbiased research is done. So I did my research like this, right? Example, was he greedy in taking Yathrib, or was he justified, and all this? But number one, let me explain again like this, unbiased. So not taking Islamic history on face value. History is recorded by the victors, heard Ghalib Kamal saying, right? How to look at the Islamic history seeping through, whether there were exaggerated accounts against their enemy, against Islam's enemy. So starting from the main source of Islam, i.e. the Quran, jotting down some points like this, like how my unbiased research was. So using first and foremost the main source, the Quran, i.e. the Quran, seeing if I clearly understand it, because it says, the Quran says, clear ayats for you to understand. And then there's a contradiction that asks those, if you do not know, those in authority and all this. So I was trying to understand, but definitely there's no reconciliation. The ayats are unclear, some of them. Then who benefits, and contradictions and crookedness, like I've been showing you. Who benefits from harming others in the end? Who benefited in the fight against evil and good, as they say? Who was evil if there has to be a fight? And who the aggressor, saying they are fighting to eradicate evil and to kill human beings? So who was the true hypocrite? Was killing of the non-Muslims justified in the fight against evil? Even that. So if they gave you a battle, right? But I found that some of them didn't give you a battle, and there wasn't a battle at times. At times there was, but at times there was no battle. The value, number two, the value of consistency in the Quran ayats, like the Quran ayats itself says, and Allah states that, if it was other than Allah, then it would have much inconsistencies. So know the value of consistency and find out whether there is consistency in all the Quran ayats. Leads to truth. Consistency leads to truth and justice. So find out the definition of logic, how they through inference come to the true meaning, the truth, validity of let's say a statement. The premise and then the deduction from that premise. So how valid is that? If it logically falls into place, then it's valid. So the validity of the Quran ayats, if they are consistent, then they would be valid. But if they are not consistent, then they would be invalid, not true. Consistency not found both in Shia or Sunni or any other Muslim beliefs. So I had to depart from their research findings. Inconsistent Quran ayats against Surah 4 ayat 80, right? So it's in Surah 4 ayat 80, the ayat that I gave you. If there were much inconsistencies, contradictions or discrepancies, then it would be from other than Allah. I think so. In Surah 4 ayat 80, I haven't given the ayat here. Then number 3 is no crookedness. So would tell us that Prophet Muhammad was not a crook. So that would tell us that Prophet Muhammad was not a crook. But he turns out to be a crook because I found crookedness. Since you find inconsistencies, you also find crookedness in the ayat. Surah Kaf ayat 1 says that there are no no crookedness in this. There's no crookedness in the Quran ayats. And it's void from all crookedness, and it's a straight book, or it's straight. Ayat 2 of Surah Kaf. It's a pretty straight book, the Quran is, right? Let's see. So let me show you. Surah Anfal ayat 67 says, it is not fit for a prophet that he should take captives until he has thoroughly subdued the land. So this is during the war. You believers, you, meaning you Muslims, and some of you Muslims, footnotes, let's see, meaning you believers settled with the fleeting gains of this world, while Allah's aim is the hereafter for you. Allah is Almighty, All-Wise, right? Footnote 1, i.e. ransom, taking, things. That's what the believers were doing. Let's see. So another translation is you, i.e. some Muslims. So this is the translation, I think, of Sahih International. A footnote also, material benefits such as the ransom paid for prisoners. So the ransom put here by someone, sorry, I don't know, in Quran.com. Who was the translator? I know his footnotes, I do. But Sahih International explains that such ransom paid for prisoners. Material benefit. So the Muslims, some Muslims, it is not for a prophet to have captives. And so in the red part of this ayat translation, Surah 8, ayat 67, you, i.e. some Muslims, desire the commodities of this world, but Allah desires for you the hereafter. And Allah is exalted and mighty. So this is important. I hope I don't have to read the whole ayats. Where it's necessary, I will. But not here. I hope it's not necessary here to read the whole ayat. Then in Surah Anfal, ayat 68, Surah 8, ayat 68, it's the next ayat after this. Had it not been for a prior decree from Allah, you would have certainly been disciplined with a tremendous punishment for whatever you have taken. Ransom meaning. You see, they put ransom in. So this is what. It's okay to take ransom then. It's okay to say ransom. For me too. So, here, in this ayat. Then Allah promises many spoils of war. Surah Fat, ayats 19, 20, 21. And many accusations which they will take. Allah promised you many acquisitions which you will take. 20, 21. And others which you have not yet been able to achieve. Allah has surely encompassed them. And Allah has power over all things. Shayn Qadir. So, you see, 3 times. So isn't this like making you greedy for the spoils of war? Then here against that ayat, right? That Allah desires for you hereafter, the previous ayat. Oh no, sorry. The ayat in Surah Anfal 67. Because I can't say the previous ayat because I'm on Surah Fatah. It's 19, 20 and 21. Many accusations which they will take. Spoils of war. Okay. Then Surah 9, ayat 61 says, and among men are they say there, he listens to what is best for you, believes in Allah, has faith in the believers, and is a mercy to those of you who believe, okay, but has faith, believes in the believers too. But that's not right, because there are many Quran ayats which tell the Muslim believers that, you did this and you're not supposed to do this. Like here in Surah 8, ayat 67, you settle with the fleeting gains of this world. At that time, the believers. Whereas Allah wishes, desires for you the hereafter. So it's kind of crooked, right? The ayats also, like not only inconsistent, but there's crookedness now. Crookedness is coming in. Then Allah promises, okay? So many spoils of war, then you have among men who molest, and he believes in the believers, which he doesn't really. How many true believers? How many there were? The Sunnis say there were many, the Shia say there were very less. Imam Ali and Abu Dhar and Salman Farsi, only a handful were true believers. So the Quran ayats, even against the believers, it says, right, calls them believers. So here, if it's not calling them believers, but by you, meaning even you could take some Muslims, not believers, but there are ayats which say you believers did this. Surah Saf ayat and all examples may come later on in this. I wonder if I will go to those ayats. I've just done a lot of reading Quran ayats, some here and there. Okay, so I'm a bit, I don't know if I will go there or not. A bit confused here. Not confused like, won't be remembering which ayats I recently found, again revisiting the believers. Oh yes, I think in Surah Anfal, like you believers, there were some believers, huh? Okay, so now that I remember, I didn't think I would. I thought I would have lost it, forgotten. Surah Anfal, like this, it says against the believers, right? They disputed about the truth. Similarly, when your Lord brought you a prophet out of your home for a just cause, a group of believers, it says, Mu'mineen, you see? Surah Anfal, this is not Surah Hashr, it's not loaded properly. It's Surah Anfal, 8th chapter of the Quran, ayat 5. A group of believers was totally against it when your Lord brought you a prophet out of your home for jihad, for war. 6th ayat. They disputed with you about the truth after it had been made clear, as if they were being driven to death with their eyes wide open. They were being driven to believers. Remember, O believers, when Allah promised to you to give you the upper hand over either target you wish to capture the unarmed party. Is it true? Unarmed? Two groups that for you wish that the other than one that of the armed. Yeah. Unarmed. Okay. You wished to capture the unarmed party, but it was Allah's will to establish the truth by His words and uproot the disbelievers. Uproot the disbelievers. So Allah, okay, He wanted you to fight and get whatever you wanted. So these were the believers. He wanted you to fight, you would say, and get the armed one. So that's better. That's halal in Islam. That's allowed, permitted, permissible. This is not permissible, unarmed party. But don't get fooled, okay? Uproot the disbelievers by fighting them. So who came out first? I think the Prophet came out. So all that you've read, the tafsirs and all that, he started the war. He was the aggressor, trying to tell the Ismailis also. One I have had a talk with on Facebook. Prophet Muhammad was not an aggressor. Imam Ali was not aggressor. But you see here that he was brought out of the house to fight the disbelievers and attack the armed one. If you okay, even not the unarmed one because the ayat is saying, but at least see the attack the armed one and to uproot the disbelievers. This is the reason the Quran ayat gives here. Another one is, and the other ayats that, oh, they were fighting you first and this and that, it's all a mishmash. No. At first, to firmly establish the truth and wipe out falsehood doesn't reconcile with those other ayats, which say that they fought you first and they fought you first. And they helped the Confederates and this and that, even to the dismay of the wicked. So here it says something else. There are scattered ayats, and the Shias think they have put it in order and it's all fallen into perspective. It all has falls into perspective. Similarly, when your Lord brought you out of your home for a just cause. So the way it's put, for a just cause, meaning it's not even clear. You can't rely on this after what I've shown you. So that's why revisiting these ayats. And remember, O believers, when Allah promised to give you the upper hand. So anyways, we're on the believers, right? He doesn't believe in the believers. His Allah doesn't believe in the believers. Not all of them. If you say some here, but it doesn't say some. Just addresses believers, like in Surah Nur ayat, to firmly establish the truth, wipe out falsehood. Now these ayats are telling you to completely uproot the disbelievers and to firmly establish the truth and wipe out falsehood. That's the just cause, meaning that's a just battle. But who was the aggressor? Who was brought out of his house to fight? Prophet Muhammad was, by Allah, even to the dismay of the wicked. Recall you crying for help from your Lord, so it responded to you, okay, this is not important. You see? So here we have this. Back to my notes. So know that the believers, he doesn't believe in all the believers or most of the believers or a few of the believers. But God has put it this way in Surah Tawbah 61. The messenger, prophet, has faith in the believers. He doesn't. His Allah doesn't. So now Surah Rum. Again I forget. Ankabut 29 or 28. 29. Surah Rum, okay, 30th chapter of the Quran, 22. And of its signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the diversity of your tongues. Yeah, this I explained, right? And colors. So, we Shias and the Ismaili Shias take this, and look at all positive, and everything is washed away. Like, indeed, everything else we don't see in the Quran ayats. Indeed, you are of different opinions. So Surah Zariyat, ayat 8. Truly you are in doctrine discordant. English translation by Yusuf Ali. So it's kind of crooked. What is the meaning of crooked? Dishonest. Crooked. Dishonesty. Lies. Surah 39 ayat 28, a Quran in Arabic, without any crookedness, so that you may become righteous. What does Surah Kaf mean by no crookedness in the Quran? Meaning that it's not dishonest, it's not a lie, it's a straight book also. So a Quran in Arabic. So without any crookedness, because so that it may make you righteous, right? So that they may become righteous. Now, how can you become righteous? You can, for yourself, thinking in your intention, your motive is not bad, like it's not your ego, but that you have really looked into the matter and found this Islam true, and you followed it, or your parents had to, or whatever your majburi, your thing may be, that you really didn't mean bad or anything, and now you're not even coming here to refute me because your niyat, your intention was clean, but now you see it. You see? And this was not for your security. Like, leave your security, emotional security, this, that, the security that religion gives you, being with a group and your conditioning. You can't let go. If you love something, you can't hate them. So now, please see this clearly, right? You have just, your motives were good, your intention was good, because you thought this was a true religion and you would never oppress any oppressor. We used to cry for the oppressor, Imam Hussein and his family, Prophet Muhammad's family. So now please bear patiently with me so I can show you this is a bit difficult. So if there was crookedness, Surah 39, Zumar, Ayat 28 says, a Quran in Arabic without any crookedness, so that you may become righteous. I'm giving it to you from the Quran ayat. So now I've proven that the Quran ayat is crooked, and I will keep proving. So what happens is, you don't become righteous. You miss the mark of righteousness. Maybe you're righteous because, you really are a good person. Like some atheists are good people. It is innate in us to be empathetic, someone told me in another live stream. Okay, Surah Nisa 32, and do not covet whatever Allah has favored some of you with over others. For men is a share of what they have earned, and for women is a share of what they have earned. Now, if you go to the spoils of war, and war is when you have to defend yourself, if you have to refute this, here, please hold your horses, listen to the whole thing, and then refute it. Your questions will be answered, I'm sure, because I've asked those questions. I know where the Muslims will be coming from. So Surah Nisa 32 says, do not covet, like be greedy of, whatever Allah is wanting, that what Allah has favored some of you with over others. Right? So for men is a share of what they have earned, and for women is a share of what they have earned. And ask Allah of His grace. Allah is all-knowing, been all-knowing of everything. Allah has always been all-knowing of everything, Father Solomon, Bridges translation. Then Surah 33, Ayat 27 says, and He caused you to inherit the land and the homes and the properties and the land which you have not trodden, and ever is Allah over all things competent. So do not compete. When Allah wants, He will give you everything, but this is even more. Like what we were told, don't be competing with others. Be content, right? Because of that ayat also. Do not covet whatever Allah has. So if I'm mispronouncing covet, not pronouncing it in the British way, or even American. Okay? Covet means, wanting things of others. They have then start to compete. So they have something more, and I want that. I want more also. I want that. Greediness comes of that and all this. If you call it greediness, coveting. So Surah 33, Ayat 27 says, He caused you to inherit the land, their homes, their properties. Why? Now, how He did it is with the Hashr. If you look at Hashr ayats, because this is about the Jews and the ones, perhaps the Jews of Yathrib. You kill some, you look at 26th ayat, who helped the Confederates and all this. You kill some, and remember the Surah Fatah, the Baduans who didn't want to help him but weren't fighting him. They said they told him to forgive them with the family and property. So don't forget Surah Fatah too, about the Baduans. And they didn't. They thought evil thoughts, and they said, when you go for the spoils of war, take us with you. And they were not even fighting, and they wanted to change the word of Allah. So don't forget that. Surah Fatah is against the Baduans. Surah Al Imran 37 says, so now you see, Mary gets providence, sustenance to whom. So he said, Zechariah said, oh Mary, whence comes this to you? She said, from Allah, for Allah provides sustenance to whom He pleases without measure. Prophet Muhammad could get sustenance from heavens by Allah. Mary was not fighting, and Mary is never in Islam. A woman, a female, cannot go for war fighting. She can go to be a nurse, but not fighting, the participating in the war as a warrior. It's haram, not allowed. So you see here, at least why I put this, just for you to make to show you that Allah can give sustenance from the heavens. To Mary He gave, right? Also gave a child without a father, so like that. And Surah 9 ayat 28 says, "O you have believed, the idolaters only are unclean, so let them not come near the inviolable place of worship after this their year. If you fear poverty." If you fear poverty, why? Because thank God some translator has put here, from the loss of their merchandise, the idolaters' merchandise. So the believers started to fear poverty because the idolaters had a lot of, they were really great in merchandise, like Khadija, Bibi Khadija. Khadija was Khadija bint Khalid, the wife of Prophet Muhammad. Rich wife, Quraysh. Abu Sufyan was rich. Allah shall preserve you of His bounty if He wills. If He will. Lo, Allah is knower wise. So now you see the believers are fearing. Where will we get the merchandise from? Because this house of Allah, this, not Bayt, but it says in another Quran ayat, Haram, Masjid al-Haram was for all people, not only its citizens who live there, but all people, locals. And so they had a lot of merchandise. Now don't fear it, as Surah Tawbah says, because they're going to kill them, they're going to take them out. And nearby also, don't forget, Surah Tawbah at 123. 123? What? Yeah, something like that. Allah doth, okay, Surah 4 ayat 28 says, Allah doth wish to lighten your difficulties. So I explained this, right? The merchandise that's coming from the idolaters, polytheists, being in that Masjid al-Haram area also. Don't fear that? Okay, but there's a certain fear. You know what He did? I'll show you. So Allah doth wish to lighten your difficulties, for man was created weak. Now we go to burdens. Polytheists, disbelievers, there are some who say, so let's see, Surah Nisa 29, I want to put that emphasis on. O you who believe, eat not up your property among yourselves in vanities, but let there be amongst you traffic and trade by mutual goodwill, nor kill or destroy yourselves, for verily Allah hath been to you most merciful. Right? So don't take eat up other people's property, believers. But what He's done, I'll show you. And Allah wants to lighten your difficulties, for man was created weak in flesh, meaning. Surah Nisa 28. Surah Nisa 30. If any do that in rancor and injustice, soon shall we cast him into the fire, and easy it is for Allah. And whoever does that out of hostility and unjustly, we will roast him in a fire, and that has always been easy for Allah. Footnote 1, Father Solomon Bridges translation, a grammatical shift from first person to third person. And whoever does that out of hostility and unjustly, we will roast him in a fire, and that has always been easy for Allah. That's all. And then the translation, a footnote is that 29 ayat 12 says that disbelievers say to the believers, see who will roast in hell, in the fire. I'm going to show you that also. So now the burden one, remember when the polytheists or the disbelievers say to the believers, just follow, here we come to Surah 29 ayat 12, Surah Ankabut ayat 12. The disbelievers say to the believers, polytheists, disbelievers are saying to the believers, just follow our way and we will bear the burden of your sins. Why? How do they know? The disbelievers don't know any sins or anything. You can see atheists. But they would never want to bear any of the believers' sins. They are simply lying. You know, like the Hindu gurus and all say, or Jesus Christ who took the sins of the people on himself and suffered for them. So do some gurus, all gurus, they say, or some gurus, they say give your worries like Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji. Now you can see. If you're feeling bad or, whatever you're feeling, give it to me. They are simply lying. But here Allah tells us that He will take the burden. No, what will He do? He will remove your burdens. Allah will remove your burdens. So maybe the polytheists were, as they're called disbelievers here, because they become disbelievers. Saying to the believers, we will take your burdens. Give it to us. This is the way Allah will lighten your sins. You see, it's not, and yet they are called simply lying, and they can't bear the believer's sins. They don't. Again, they're called liars here in Surah 29 ayat 12. Surah 59 ayat 6 says, and what Allah restored of property to us. Here we come to Surah Hashar. Surah Hashar ayats say that, and what sixth, and what Allah restored of property to His Messenger. You know what property this is? This is not spoils of war. So if I go to Surah Anfal, 1/5 of what is for Allah and the Messenger and his this and that. Wayfarer, don't get deceived, please. Here, he's getting 5 money, 5. And your own notes say international. Surah 59 ayat 6. And what Allah restored of property to His Messenger from them, you did not spur for it, you believers, in an expedition. Oh, you didn't? Any horses or camels? Now it's right. But Allah gives His Messenger power over whom He wills. Now He's taking 5 money. Telling you, yes, it's for the wayfarer, it's for the needy, but before that, it's for him, his family members. Before all that, it's for Allah. Now it's 5 money and property. It's all 5. It's not male ghani mat. It's not spoils of war. It's 5, and I'll show you. But Allah gives His Messenger power over whom He wills. And the Quran ayat itself says it's 5. What do I have to show you? And Allah is over all things competent. Allah gives the messenger power over whom He wills. No, no, that should not be the case like this, in this case. Taking their mal, fi. You know what fi is? Meaning, footnote, Sahih International, Quran.com, meaning that they went through no hardship. And that's what they are told, right? Spur for it, you didn't. But they broke the houses of the believers also. The believers breaking the houses of the Yathrib people. The Yathrib people, Jews breaking their own houses. And they were banished from their own city, land where they lived. Meaning that they went through no hardship, I war to obtain it. What? No war this time. So remember that if they're not fighting you, don't fight them. If they're offering you peace, offer them peace. Don't fight them. Don't fight them. But then I was showing that, Baba, this is just written on face value. Then this ayat is abrogated. Now I wanted to know what fire is. So I went to Surah. First I went to Surah Anfal. I said, no. So this is a Surah. Here it will come. Which ayat, and here it is. The concept of phi and its law of distribution. And whatever phi, leftover property, Allah has passed on to His Messenger from them. Surah Hashar 59, ayat 6. The word afa is derived from fa'un, which means to return. Oh, now look how he's taking the money and all. You've killed some of them, God knows what, because they, you would say they helped the Confederates. Surah Azabites. Thus, the time of the afternoon when the shade of things returns to the east is referred to as file. The real ownership of the entire universe belongs to Allah. The ownership of things can be ascribed to human beings when Allah Himself declares them through His law to be under the ownership of a human being. However, when people rebel against Allah, indulging in disbelief, just indulging in disbelief and shirk, not fighting with you, please see this. What? Please, if you can read this, if you can go to Quran.com, Tafsir of Surah 59 and 6. Maybe I will not be able to complete it because, Fatima Zahra, sentimental, got phi money, phi property, fadak. Fadak was phi. Peaceful thing with the Jews. Why Abu Bakr Shias took it away and said, no, you don't inherit your father. It was another reason. So this is how, you see, एक तो माल गनीमत है, एक तो है फाय. So Allah Himself declares the ownership of things can be ascribed to human beings when Allah Himself declares them through His laws to be under the ownership of a human being. However, when people rebel against Allah, indulging in disbelief and shirk, their lives and properties are confiscated. Please don't go to Shia commentaries now. Look at this one because I agree to this. Through properly constituted authority and ownership, and their ownership, which is given to the messenger over them. So what he gives you take, and what he doesn't, and what he has confiscated. This is the way you went about now. What a clever, cunning man. So if you're saying, they broke the treaties, but look at 5, indulging in disbelief and shirk. However, when people, not breaking treaties, not fighting you, not deceiving you, not putting an obstacle in your way towards Allah, in your path towards Allah, no. Indulging in disbelief and shirk. I agree to this. Because that's what the ayats are showing me when I Surah Hashar ayats, Surah Azab ayats, 60 hypocrites. And who has turned out a hypocrite? The worst. However, when people rebel against Allah, thank God it doesn't say against the messenger, otherwise you'll think that. But in what manner are they rebelling? Okay, in what manner are they rebelling against Allah? Indulging in disbelief and shirk. They haven't taken out their swords. Just indulging in disbelief and shirk, which is polytheism, which is idolatry. Idolatry, you see? Their lives and their properties are confiscated through properly constituted authority. And their ownership returns to the real owner, Allah. And this Allah is fake Allah, false Allah, not a true God. So now you see, from this point of view, all properties acquired from the unbelievers should be called fai. However, the sacred law of Sharia draws a distinction between the terms ghanima, spoils of war, and fai. The former refers to a property which is acquired from non-Muslims through active armed struggle, as in Surah Anfal ayat 41, Surah 8 ayat 41. And know that whatever spoils you receive, right? And know that whatever spoils you receive, this is ayat, part of Surah, the ayat part of the ayat. And know whatever spoils you receive. However, the word fai refers to a property acquired without resorting to an actual fight. Like in a state of peaceful surrender. Shias take it from here, I would say. These two terms have been used to set down rules of these two types in the Holy Quran. Surah Anfal dealt with injunctions relating to the ghanima or spoils of war, which is acquired from non-Muslims in the wake of armed struggle. The present surah takes up the subject of fai and the law of its distribution. The term fai includes any property or wealth which the non-Muslims might leave behind and run away, or you have banished them, made them break their houses, used believers to break their houses, cut down their trees, and you said siege, because of siege. So they peacefully surrendered. Think of Surah Hashar. This is Surah Hashar ayat on Surah 6th ayat. But see, think of the first ayat, the second ayat, third, fourth of cutting off trees, and the 6th ayat which he gets all the, you didn't swear for it. You believers. So it wasn't a war. They may have given Prophet surrendering in peace, but he didn't want them to be surrendering in peace, living in their houses peacefully. He even banished them from Yathrib. You get it? One rock fell and Jibrail told me that this Jew wanted to kill me, and I'm going to banish the whole tribe from Yathrib. Slowly, slowly, gradually, fast, revolutionary, banishing all the tribes, Jewish tribes. Baduans there, Surfat, why? Oh, you will be called to fight such an army because you didn't help the Prophet in the conquest of Makkah. Phi, and the law of its distribution. The term phi includes any property or wealth which the non-Muslims might leave behind and run away or make over to the Muslim authority willingly or with consent, like kharaj, jizya, or commercial duty. Commercial duty? Yeah, it belongs to Allah. Allah could not give them bring down from heaven, like fish also came. Food also came for for those with Jesus Christ. Sire, have you seen Jesus of Nazareth? There's only one fish and bread. There's few. How are we going to feed these old people who are following us? The disciple of Jesus Christ tells Jesus. And then when Jesus says, go in, you will. He's taking out fish from the basket and it's coming. Lots of fish, everyone's eaten. Well, bread is coming out of the basket. And his Allah. Oh, now there's more. Oh, the phrase al-Qurra, or the people of the towns, refers to the Jewish tribes, Banu Nadir, Banu Qurayza, those, I can't read. I have it's traumatizing. Sorry, I can't. It's enough, right? So, you can't reach to righteousness because that's crookedness. Covet whatever Allah's favorite. Did I do? I know I didn't do justice. I have to take a break, sorry. I will come back. So what does Surah Kaf mean by no crookedness in the Quran? Sorry, I've got just this much and I need to take a break. Thank you so much. Thank you for this. I haven't done justice. I'll come back again. Just as I get very angry, upset, traumatized. Sorry about this. I'll come back. Try to do justice. Thank you so much.